What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and I am here today, you guys, with a brand new review for Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 4, Episode 8, you guys. And this episode was titled Street Struck. Now, before I do go ahead and get into it, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel, you guys, and you guys aren't subscribed yet, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, and sharing the video, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's discuss Raising Kanan, shall we? All right, you guys, this is a good episode to me. So you guys know we got 2 episodes left until the season is over. So I'm gonna tell you guys why I'm laughing, because we actually gonna start up with that scene in that area. This episode had me cracking up, and there was one scene in particular. When I tell y'all, I was sitting right here on my couch, and when I saw that scene, I hollered. Then I got up from the couch and I went to my bedroom to finish the episode, and it was still on that scene. Because I had actually on the TV, I had fast forwarded because I rewound it back because I missed something. And then get back in my room and that scene repeated. I was like, damn. But it was funny nonetheless. I heard you guys. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, where I want to start up is with OC. OC, my God, today that shit was hilarious to me. So we see OC, he is with Nick's crew, right? You guys know Nick's crew is at his spot, you know, that tailor shop, right? And so OC went up to this one big dude and he was like, he tapped on him. He was like, do you know when Nick's coming back? And he was like, are you making my problems your problem? Is that what you doing? Don't make my problems your problem, nigga. I was like, calm down, big boy. Calm your ass down, right? So Neek finally came back, right? And OC is telling Neek, like, yo, Kanan knows that it was me that helped you take that money from him, which I knew. I think I said this, like, some of the things that happened in this episode, I knew it. I don't know if I said it in my reviews. I'm pretty sure I probably did, maybe not, right? But I figured OC, when he took the money, I was like, he didn't take the money from himself. He took the money because of Neek, right? And so OC is like, you know, I got to get out of town. Like, I got to get out of New York. Like, I haven't been home because I'm afraid this nigga Kanan is going to come looking for me, right? And so somebody came and whispered in Neek's ear. They whispered in his ear. He was like, it's got to be that bitch Rock. That bitch Rock. I was like, calm your ass down, nigga. I'm going to talk about that in just a few minutes, what he's saying had to be Rock. But yeah, he's just saying it's got to be that bitch Rock. So that bitch Rock gonna pay. So OC came up to Neek one final time. He was like, Neek, I gotta go. I gotta go. When he told him he gotta go, why this crazy fool turn around? He's like, you gotta go, OC. You gotta go, OC. You can go. Pop, and blast him in the middle of the forehead. I was like, well, damn. Then he just pop, 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 kept blasting him. I was like, Neek, the man is dead at this point. Like, you just wasting bullets in this man's body. Because, I mean, you got a headshot. Head, Dewey, head. Like, if you guys know where that movie reference comes from, like, head, Dewey, like, you've already got him in the head, Dewey. Like, what you doing now? So then he said, what the fuck y'all niggas looking at? I would have said, you know what, nigga, I'm blind. I got cataracts. I'm Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles of the bullshit. Y'all see anything? And then I'd be Helen Keller. Y'all see anything? Y'all hear anything? Oh, I didn't, nothing, right? Then he told him to clean that shit up. I was like, wait a minute. So he told him to clean, he told him to clean it up, right? So at this point in the episode, moving on, we see Neek. So he's still talking to the people. He's still talking about Rock is behind what happened. Like I said, I'll get to it in a few minutes. So Neek is saying they need to hit the Chinese people, the Asian people, And Big Boy was like, that ain't what Phil want. He was like, fuck what Jersey want. I was like, okay, Unique, calm your ass down. So while Unique was going off, right, a cop came in and wants to have a conversation with Neek. And Neek was like, I don't got shit to say to you. He's like, okay, well, I'll talk, you listen. So Unique asked Big Boy, is like, hey, is it good back there? He said, yeah, it's good. So Neek and the cop went back to the back, right? And Neek is talking to the, well, technically the cop is not talking, right? And he feels that Unique is behind what happened to Ronnie and to Howard. He was like, do I look like a fucking clown to you? Both Nick and I were like, can we say something? And Nick told him, you do look like, back to the first question you asked, you do look like a fucking clown. Because the cop thinks that Neek took, like I said, the cop thinks that Neek took out Ronnie and Howard. But then you asking him about the connection between Ronnie and Howard, he tells you he don't know shit, but you drawing a conclusion that it's him. But oh, how wrong you are. Like, that ain't had nothing to do with Neek. I mean, it would be, here's the thing. Because he asked Neek where he been. Neek said he'd been on a vacation. I mean, the streets have been saying Neek was dead. I mean, well, you know what? And here's the thing. If Neek had done that, wouldn't he state, never mind. Maybe in that cop's brain, 4 plus 4 equals 6. Because I'm not drawing comparisons with what he's saying, right? So later we see Neek. So Neek is having a conversation with Phil, right? And he's telling Phil about what happened with Quan. Again, I'll bring up what happened with Quan in just a minute, but he's bringing up what happened with Quan to Phil, right? But he still thinks that Rock is behind this. So he wants to go after Rock. But Phil is like, fuck no. Like, I don't want no issues with, Stefano. So you need to find yourself another motherfucking connect, right? Because we can't go off of these hunches that you have that it's Rock. Like I said, definitely we'll get back to it in a minute. So after that, we see as Neek is having this meeting with Snaps and Pop. And I was like, again, Neek don't know that Snap, Crackle, and Pop are the ones that was working with Ronnie. And so he wants to work with them, right? Because he says, Quan is gone, and when you take down one nigga, it's 10 more waiting in the wings. So we them other 10 niggas. And he was like, no, I'm not saying that. He's saying to them, like, your only business that you get money from is from Kanan. Rock ain't bringing y'all shit, so y'all come in with me, and y'all cool with Stefano. I'm working with Phil. We can bring those two together and broker peace with those two, right? And I can bring you everything on a whole silver platter for you guys. So Snap, Crackle, and Pop are like, well, you know what? Let's sit back and let's think about it, and then we'll get back to you. And, Neek was like, okay, think about it and get back to me, right? So then after this scene, I thought that these men really disposed of OC's body. What did they do with OC's body? So we see the man as he's emptying the trash can, right? The garbage man, right? So the trash is going into the trash can, and then you see OC's body rumble out. I was like, y'all are that reckless and stupid. Now, maybe, I don't think that they put OC's body anywhere where it would link it back to Neek, but that's still not smart. But okay, you know what? It is what it is, right? Will the cops be able to... All right, so my bad, you guys. The camera cut off. But do I think that the cops will be able to link this to Neek? I don't. Because nobody knew that OC was working with Neek, so I don't really think that the cops can link this back to Neek, but, we shall see. But that's it for Neek, you guys. Let's go ahead and move on to the next story. Well, I don't want to say the next scene of the episode, shall we? All right, you guys. So next up, let's talk about Marvin real quick. Y'all, the more that I watch this episode, and this episode in particular, I really think that we're foreshadowing Marvin's end. Like I said, we got 2 more episodes. And I really think that we're signaling towards Marvin's end. I don't think that all three Thomas siblings are gonna make it out of season 4. I really don't. I don't foresee that. If they do make it out of season 4, the all three Thomas siblings, Rock, Lou, Marvin, I would be shocked. But the way that the the way that they're writing this season and the way that they wrote this episode, oh Marvin, I don't think you're gonna make it, my boy. And y'all know I love me some Marvin, right? But yeah, so Marvin opened up the episode, right? So this is what I was just telling you guys a few minutes ago that I would circle back to it, right? So Marvin is, we hear Marvin and he's talking to somebody, right? Asking them for a code to the safe, right? And I was like, okay, who is Marvin robbing? So then we see a bunch of Asian dead bodies laid all out around. I said, what the hell is going on here? And then we see Marvin. Marvin got a ski mask over his face, and I was like, this ain't making no sense to me. Then we see Quan. So Quan is the one that Marvin is asking for the code to the safe, right? Quan is not trying to give Marvin the code to the safe whatsoever, right? And Quan is trying to broker a deal with Marvin. And so Marvin is like, hell no, right? Because he said, let me go and I'll give you the code. And Marvin's like, fuck no. So he had to get to, Quan's face, right? Quan eventually gave him the code to the safe. So Marvin got in, he saw the money, and he saw some diamonds, right? And diamonds in his hand. And so then Marvin lifted the ski mask off of his face, and Quan was like, you Rock's brother. He's like, yeah, and I'm a lot more than that. He's like, I'm the nigga that's about to take you out. So boom, Quan is gone. So there goes Neek's connect, right? And that's why Neek kept saying he gonna get that bitch Rock, because he thinks that Rock is the one that took out Quan. And I was thinking to myself, when I was watching this, I was like, we know how Marvin is. We know Marvin will do things and Rock don't know about it. So I was wondering, is this one of those situations where Marvin is acting on his own or acting on Stefano's behalf and Rock knows nothing about this? But we'll come back to it in just a minute, right? Now, later in the episode with Marvin, we see as Marvin is at meeting up with Early, right? And he's at Early's garage and he's picking up some money from Early, right? So then you guys can correct me, and well, not even correct me. I don't remember this conversation that Marvin and Early are talking about. So Marvin asked Early about some guy that he was having issues getting money from, and the guy was talking about how he had mob ties, right? And so Marvin asked Early, what did you do to him? And Early was like, you gave me the go ahead to take basically take the nigga out. So that's what me and my cousin Londell did. And so Marvin is freaking the fuck out. He's like, you took Londell. So we find out that not Marvin, but Early's cousin Londell went to prison for being a rat, right? And so, Early is like, yo, you ain't got to worry about that. He ain't going to talk. I was like, he just said that your cousin went to jail for being a rat. Do you want to trust that? Because I damn sure wouldn't. Like, if I have a person in my family, which, let me also preface this by saying, if I was in a drug game, and I had a person in my motherfucking family that was I had somebody in my family that was a rat, bitch, I wouldn't work with them for shit. I wouldn't commission them for a motherfucking thing, right? Like, I wouldn't commission them for a motherfucking thing. Looking at this show, bitch, this is a prime example of why I would never want to be a dealer, a connect, none of that bullshit. And I know some, some dealers and stuff, very close to some of them. And I just be looking at them like, stay away from me with that. Don't involve me with none of that shit. Like, when I say I have close ties, like familial ties. I have family members who do that stuff, and I'm like, and watching this show, I be thinking about my family. I'm like, y'all ain't the least bit scared, because I'm gonna give y'all a quick little story about something that happened over 20 years. It's been at least 20 years since this happened, right? I think I've told you guys this story, but if I didn't, I'm gonna tell you guys this story again. So there was one night in my grandmother's neighborhood. We would sleep, right? Sleep, The next morning we wake up the street from us, there is the police tape cutting off the road, and there's a car, and nobody touching. The cops are surrounding the car, right? What do you guys think is in the car? A deceased body is in the car. That person had been in the car all night long. I don't know how they got tipped off that the person was in the car. I don't remember if the person was. I know they were either they were in the back seat of the car or they were in the trunk of the car, one of the two. But while we was sleeping, something happened. That nigga came up, popped, right, and in the back seat, or I really think that man was in the back seat of the car. I think that man was in the back seat of the car, because then the police came down to my grandmother's house where me and my grandmother were, and they asked us if we knew anything about, like, and my grandma was like, nope, we were asleep the whole time, which we were. And I think she called my aunt, and she was like, where's my cousin? She asked where was my cousin at, right? And luckily enough, he wasn't anywhere around that. And the reason why I say where was, we didn't think that my cousin was the one in the car. We were just making sure that my cousin wasn't with the people because the people that live up the street, we know them. We've known them. I've known them my entire life. Our families are well, not even yeah. Our family is intertwined, definitely intertwined. But hey, neither here nor there. But yeah, when I be looking at them, I'm like, I don't know how y'all niggas do this shit. The fuck? Hell no. Ain't no motherfucking way. Now, after that, we see Marvin. So Marvin went to go meet up with Stefano, right? And he's talking to Stefano about business, right? Stefano, however, is still worried about Rock and her feelings for Unique, feeling like she's going to be a woman scorned. And, Marvin is saying, my sister is not going to be that, right? My sister, nobody's going to get, scorn on my sister. So then, what's his name? Stefano asked Marvin, like, so, my friend up there, wherever he is, right? The one that they fished out of the river, do you know anything about that? And Marvin is shitting bricks. He told him, I don't know nothing about that. But Stefano told him, like, once I find out who did it, it's going to be a place right there in that river with cement blocks on their feet, right? And Marvin was like, I hope they don't come in my size. And Stefano was like, they come in all sizes. I was like, ooh, Marvin. Yeah, Marvin, I just don't see you leaving season 4, buddy. I really, truly don't. The writings are on the wall. So after that, we see Early, Londell, and some other men. They together. I think they were playing a card game. I don't know what they were playing, but they were together. They were talking. So Londell had to go pee, but Early ain't fixed the bathroom. So Londell had to go outside, and so Londell outside taking a leak, right? I don't want to say the other word. He's peeing, right? He's urinating. So Londell is doing that, and up walks Marvin with the silencer. He said, loose lips sink ship, nigga, and popped him, right? I was like, okay, Marvin. I mean, I get it, but I really think that's going to somehow going to come back on you. Not Londell. Well, not Londell, but I think you just prolonging the inevitable. Honestly, Marvin, I really truly feel like you're prolonging the inevitable. But that's that for Marvin, you guys. We'll go ahead and we'll move on to the next scene, right? All right, you guys. So I guess we'll go ahead and talk about Lou and Rilla, and then we'll leave Rock and Kanan in for last. So we see Lou. So Lou is still banging Imani. I was like, oh, okay. Congratulations, right? So Imani asked Lou, is this a full-time thing, part-time thing? What the hell is this, right? Lou tells her it's full-time. So then she sits down with Lou, and she's telling Lou, like, well, if it's going to be full-time, like, you can open up to me, you can talk to me, tell me your feelings. And I was like, oh, God, girl, I think it's just a booty call. But hey, whatever. And she's like, because what happened with your mother? You can talk to me. He was like, I would prefer not to. I was like, thank you. But then he said to her, like, I don't know what to say. I don't know how I feel, which that's understandable, right? You had a tricky relationship with your mother. Now she's dead, and you just don't really know. He don't really know how to move, right? And so that was that with them, right? But then we see later as Rilla is leaving the corner store, right? So Kenyatta and his muscle pulled up on Rilla, and they telling Rilla like, "Hey, so yeah, I know we hit the wrong house the last time, but we finna make that shit right. We gonna hit the right house this time." And I was like, are y'all stupid or are y'all dumb? Like, the man knows that somebody just robbed his other house. Now y'all want to go try to rob him again? Did you think that maybe the cops maybe surrounded his house? Did you think that maybe he has security beefed up? Like, the fuck? And Rilla's trying to tell him like the cops on high alert, and Lowell is, he's on high alert too. I was like, exactly. But these stupid fools think that Rilla is just scared. I was like, that could be true that Rilla is scared, but at the same time, use common sense, my nigga. Common sense would tell you we robbed the right house, but there were people renting the house. The motherfucker that we was trying to hit called the cops, or somebody called the cops. The motherfucker we tried to hit now knows about this. Like, so they telling Rilla we gonna go back and we gonna do it again, voluntarily or involuntarily. I was like, that's still stupid. Like, I was just sitting there thinking to myself, like, that is still fucking dumb. Dumb. So we see as Rilla and Lou are in the studio, right? So Rilla is in the booth and he's off beat. And so Lou is looking at Alan like, what the fuck is going on? And Alan's like, maybe he ain't getting no sleep, right? So Lou called Rilla out. And so Rilla was like, you know what, Lou, let me talk to you solo. And so Lou was like, okay, Alan, you can take 5, right? So when he walked out, that's when Rilla told him, like, so the shit that happened at Laurel's house, now, I didn't do it. I wasn't a part of what happened, but it kind of did happen because I orchestrated this, right? And Lou is like, no, no, no. Like, you a stupid motherfucker. I was like, absolutely stupid. Dumb. Just dumb as hell, right? Dumb as hell. And so then we see as Lou paid a visit to Kenyatta and his muscle, right? So Lou is telling them, like, the shit that y'all trying to do with Rilla, ixnay, cut it, right? So the other dude come out like, the muscle come out like, Lou, you ain't the big bad Lou Thomas that people talk about, right? You've gone soft. And so Kenyatta saying the same thing. So old boy lifts his shirt up to expose his gun to Lou. And Lou was like, you know what? I'm out, right? So then we see Lou and Rilla at the studio. And Lou is still telling Rilla, like, you stupid motherfucker, like, you did this. I went and talked to those niggas, and they won't listen to reason, right? So not Lou, but Rilla is like, I heard that you gone soft. And Lou was like, I ain't went soft. And so he was like, well, because the Lou that I've heard about, he would have been, handled them niggas. And so we see Lou and Rilla go up to the studio, right? Meanwhile, Kenyatta and the muscle, they across the street looking at Lou and Rilla, right? So they're talking, and the dude was like, they might be up there all day. He was like, and we will wait. So then day turns to night. He was like, they might be up there all night, and we will wait. Because the dude was like, nigga, I'm hungry. Like, I want to get something to eat. So Kenyatta told him, if you get out this car, I'm going to get them two, then I'm going to circle around, and I'm going to get you. So old boy had to stay in that car. I was like, dude, don't you have a gun on you? Take that bitch out. Boop. Pop him. He can't come after you if he's no longer living. But old boy sat in that car. And then we finally see as Lou and Rilla came down. Well, actually, we saw Rilla come downstairs. We didn't see Lou because Kenyatta woke him up like, there go Rilla. And he was like, but it's him by himself. He's like, he's just waiting. He's waiting on Lou. He wasn't waiting on Lou because Lou knocked on the window. Jumbo niggas. Pop. Pop. I was like, there go my Lou. There go my Lou. And so Kenyatta rolled out the car, and he got up. He was struggling, and Lou just said, Boom, boom, boom. I said, yes, there go my motherfucking Lou. There go my nigga Lou. You guys, I am so proud of myself because I barely looked at my notes, but it's also because I just watched the episode. But I ain't looked at my notes very much just review. So yeah, you guys, that's that. Because I think I hit everything with Lou and Rilla. So let's pause here, you guys, and move on. All right, you guys. So the next scene, I think we're gonna talk about Rock. Now with Rock, I may have to look down in my notes because there are some things that I don't remember. But with Rock, we see Rock. So Rock is in her car, right? And she's somewhere in the area of where Neek's spot is, right? So she sees Neek's people. They are going in, right? And then she drives off. So then later in the episode with Rock, we see Rock, and Rock is meeting with, what is that man's name? What is that, brother? What does that mean? Y'all leave it in the comment section because I don't know the Afghan brother's name. So until I know his name, Rock is with the Afghan brother. So the Afghan brother told Rock that his people were able to get the shipment, it's en route. So Rock asked him like, well, how soon will it be here? He said, it'll be here by the end of the week, right? So it's Rock and Marvin. So we see Rock and Marvin. So they left, right? So Rock said, you know what? At this point, I got to leave here and I got to go talk to, what's his name? David, right? And so she told him, you go talk to, she wanted him to go talk to Stefano. Is that right? Or am I wrong? Well, either way it goes, I think that may have came up later. But either way it goes, Rock was going to talk to David. So we see her talking to David. Now, David, do you think Rock is your therapist talking about your love life? And the men that he's talking about a man, so I'm assuming David, I assume David's gay, but I was like, David, that ain't what she's here for. And Rock told him, she's telling him like, we back in business, but it's a little empty up in this motherfucker, so what's going on? And he was like, yeah, we lost a couple of employees because of payroll. But he's like, that's not a problem, we can get more employees. I was like, for your sake, David, you better hope that you can, because if you don't, I think that's going to be a bit of a problem when it comes to good old Sister Rock, right? So then we see as Rock was talking to Marvin, right? She told him about David, and then she said, so I need for you, since you in good with Stefano, you go talk to Stefano. You tell Stefano that we back in business, right? And so that's when Marvin told Rock, like, there may be a little bit of an issue and a hiccup when it comes to me and Stefano, because Early and his cousin Londell ended up taking out somebody that is really close to Stefano, and Rock was like, fuck no, Marvin. She went off on Marvin, which she should. Because Marvin, like, this is why I keep saying Marvin, I just don't see you making it out of this season. So Rock is telling him, like, you need to handle that shit with Early and with Londell. He was like, Early is fine, but I'll handle this shit with Londell. And I was like, oh, good luck to you. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. So then after that, we see another scene with Rock. So somebody knocked at the door, and her security said that she knows you. So it was Crystal there, right? So Crystal came to let Rock know that, she's worried about Kanan. And so Rock asked her, so who does he think took out Fame? And she was like, you will have to ask him that question, right? And so we see as Crystal is leaving. I'll get to you guys in a minute about why Crystal is leaving, but let's pause here. And now we can wrap up the episode, right? All right, you guys, so the end of the episode, the end of the review. Now we see Kanan and Jukebox, they're talking, right? So Kanan is still on this whole he gotta find OC thing, right? So Juke says, well, have you talked to his moms? He says, not yet, but I will. And so Juke was like, actually, you know what? Let me do it, right? And so he was like, so you in this with me, Juke? And she was like, no, that's not what I'm saying. So then she asked him about Fame. He was like, I think The Rock took out Kanan. And Juke was like, why would you think that Rock took out Kanan? I mean, why would you think that Rock took out Fame? He was like, well, them niggas, when they said that the cops did it, I saw my mom's, and she was paying off the cops. I was like, okay, that still doesn't mean that your mother took out the cops, right? So Juke even said that. She was like, Rock loved him, But he said, and she also loved, what was his other friend's name? What was that other, he said it too in this episode. I meant to take it down because I forgot that boy's name. Y'all remember the boy that Rock had taken out in season 1? And I was like, that is a good point. She did take him out, but yeah, that was still calculated. This whole thing with Fame, it doesn't speak, it doesn't, it, I know in last week's review, well, not last week's review, but the week before, the break, I was like, I was still questioning because I think I said it in the previous, I think I said it in the review the week that we knew Fame was gonna, that we knew about Fame. I think I said it then. I know I said it because I remember saying it out loud. But it'll come up in a few minutes, you guys. So Kanan says that he's gonna go talk to Snaps and Pop, right? Snap, Crackle, and Pop, because they got some connections to the police themselves, right? So we see as Kanan is talking to Snap, Crackle, and Pop, they walking in the park, and so he like, they was like, do you know anything about what happened to that nigga Quan? And Kanan was like, yeah, nah, like this is the first time I'm hearing anything about it. But if I do hear something, I'll definitely let you guys know. But the reason why I'm meeting with you guys is because I'm trying to figure out what happened to my friend Fame, because, people are saying that the cops had something to do with it. And they were like, so what the fuck you talking to us for, right? And he's telling them, I'm talking to y'all because, y'all got connects to the cops. And I was like, they were like, huh? He was like, yeah, because I saw y'all talking to the cops. And they didn't show it on their face. But once Kanan left, they were like, fuck. So then we see as Snap, Crackle, and Pop met up with the police, right? Come to find out, it was Snap, Crackle, and Pop who had Fame taken out by the cops. I was like, I knew it was you two motherfuckers. And it's so interesting. Like I said about Neek. Neek is working with these two who worked with his brother, but Neek doesn't know that, right? Like everything that Neek, like the shit that Neek is pissed off about, and it's so interesting. Rock is getting blamed for shit that she didn't do. Rock is getting, and Kanan knows Rock. We know Rock. Neek knows Rock. If Rock do something, Rock gonna be open and honest about it. Now, the only thing that Rock ain't open and honest about is the fact that she is the one who ordered the hit on Quan. That's the only thing that Rock ain't owning up to, right? Because she says, there's no smoking gun with that. But everything else with Rock, she's very open about. Even with Kanan's friend, she kept it from him, but when Kanan found out, she was real about it, right? So Neek is working with Snap, Crackle, and Pop, who were working with Ronnie and Kanan, which I don't know why he hadn't put two and two together. If you know that Kanan is working with Snap, Crackle, and Pop, why didn't you put two and two together that maybe Ronnie and Kanan were working with Snap, Crackle, and Pop and not his mother? I'm not understanding Unique with that part. If you know that Kanan is working with Ronnie, if you know that Kanan is working with Snap, Crackle, and Pop, and you think that Kanan was working with your brother and his mama, take his mama out and insert Snap, Crackle, and Pop. That shit ain't making sense to me, right? Kanan, I don't expect him to put two and two together that maybe my mother didn't have nothing to do with this. Maybe it wasn't my mother. Like, I'm not expecting him to think that. But Unique, like I saw, but even with Kanan, you just literally said in this episode, I saw y'all with the cops. So why you ain't putting two and two together that maybe these motherfuckers are the ones that took out Fame? Like, nobody's thinking, and it's pissing me off. That shit really pissed me off. Because I just thought about that too. With Kanan, you saw Snaps and Pop with the cops. You think the cops took him out. If these two are working with the cops, just like your mama's working with the cops, why you ain't looking at these two motherfuckers as well? And like I said with Neek, you know Kanan works with Snap, Crackle, and Pop, but you ain't thinking Snap, Crackle, and Pop worked with Kanan, who worked with Ronnie. So then we see Jukebox and Rock talking, right? So they're packing up grandma's stuff, right? And so Rock asked Juke what she know about Kanan, right? She said she don't know nothing about Kanan. Well, she don't know what Kanan knows, right? Because he ain't saying nothing. The streets ain't saying nothing about him when it comes to Fame. So Rock told Juke watch out for your cousin because he may do something stupid if he has an inkling of who he thinks took out, Fame. And I was like, how right you are. And the fact that he think it's you is even worse, right? So I forgot to mention this scene, and I'm glad that I didn't in this video. But we also see Jukebox as Juke went to go check on OC, right? So when she went to go check on OC, OC's brother came to let her. Came to the door, and he let her in. I was like, Juke, girl, stay on high alert, because the reason that this nigga is asking you to come in the house is because he wants some, and he don't. It ain't not. It ain't that he wants drugs off of you. He wants what's between your legs, Miss Lady. And so he was like, so how you know my brother is like on some boyfriend girlfriend type shit? So he said, because I know my brother can't pull no dime like you, and he's grabbing his dick. And I was like, dude, this is the wrong road to travel down. So he brushes up on Juke, and Juke had her pistol in that pocket and whopped him upside the motherfucking head. And he was like, damn. And I was like, exactly, that ain't what you wanted. So she got the gun in his face, and she was like, so when is the last time you saw OC? He was like, it's been a week ago. She said, you could have said that and saved yourself the lump on the fucking head. I was like, exactly. You could have saved yourself the lump on your fucking head, right? So then we see not Juke, but Kanan with Crystal, right? So Kanan is telling Crystal, like, you gotta go. Go to your grandmother's, or go to your cousin, go to your person in Florida, or go to Delaware. I was like, okay, Kanan, whatever, right? Now, we do see as Kanan and Juke are at the trap house, right? And the dude Primo comes up. That's when Juke told him about what happened with OC's brother. So Primo came telling Juke and Kanan they found OC, and he shook his head. So Kanan knows what it is, right? So we do see Kanan as he went over to OC's crib. OC's mom was like, why would somebody do that to my baby? I was like, girl, your baby was in a drug game. But hey, far be it to me to tell you that, ma'am. So after that, we see as Crystal is on a bus, right? Kanan, if you don't put two and two together after this episode and next week's episode, that it's not your mama. So Crystal got on the bus. The cops got on the bus grabbing Crystal, saying that they want to talk to Crystal in regards to Fame. And like I said, Kanan, if you don't put two and two together, your mama ain't the one that, like, your mother is not gonna kidnap Crystal. Now, I honestly thought they were gonna. I thought they were gonna take her out. I thought they were gonna take Crystal on the fuck out. But in the preview for next week's episode, we see as they're holding her hostage. Now, Kanan, brother, put two and two together, and you will see that it ain't your motherfucking mama who did this. And then the last thing that I want to talk about, you guys, this scene with Jukebox. So Jukebox was at a pizza place, right? And the cop that was talking to Unique, he pulled up on Juke trying to get answers about Unique. I was like, huh? Cop, you way off base. You off base. But that's it, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, and share the video, you guys. Until the next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, you guys. Wash your hands, be blessed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I cannot believe this video is over 30 minutes. But it was a good episode, but when is the last time I've done a 30-minute video of power? It's been a minute. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Did I say stay safe? I think I did. But stay safe, you guys. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands. Be blessed. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.